Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Namaha. Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tamha Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Om Shant Shant Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvopaplavarahitaha Prajnanaganaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamsmi Brahmaivahamsmi. Vedantartha Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sanghapavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavat Padabhidham Vikrate Tasmai Bhashyakate Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Yasya Nishvasitam Veda Yo Vedebhyo Khilam Jagat Nirmame Tamaham Vande Vidyatirthamaheshwaram Vidyatirthamaheshwaram. It is indeed a subject matter of curiosity as what is it that makes a person renounce, that what is thought about by most of the people as their goals of life, to have a family, to have progeny, to have money, to have wealth, to have popularity. And renouncing all these things which are generally sought by people, what is it that makes someone take to the life of renunciation? It is indeed a matter of inquiry. It should intrigue anyone. People passionately are chasing pleasures of life, pleasures, sensual pleasures. Passionately are chasing wealth and power. But here is someone who has flung all these pursuits to the wind because he has found that these are worthless. Then definitely there has to be something that he has either found or he desires to find, compared to which all these things have lost their charm, all their allurement. What is it? The Upanishad says, or over here paraphrased, Vidyaranya Swami says, Pravrajino lokametam ichchanta pravrajanti etasyarthastu gadyena vakshyate mantabuddhaye. The second line is not for us to think about this subject matter, because it simply says that this is the subject matter that I'm going to elaborate, but not in poetry form, in prose form. Pravrajino lokamichanta. Sannyasi is desiring this experience. Now the word loka, don't simply translate it as one would be tempted to translate it as the world. Loka. Pravrajino lokamichanta. Now understand the word loka for time being, because the author himself will give clarity about this word. And he says, the sannyasi is desiring this experience. Etam lokamichanta. This experience. They renounce and go away. That renunciation definitely means now he is no longer going to pursue that what can be seen as the pursuits of a diligent grihastha, of a householder. For a householder wanting to make a house, home, a nest, babies, children, and in human beings, the desire for the well-being of the offsprings does not go away. And therefore that progeny is something that is desired. But he goes away now. He does not involve himself into these matters. Desiring this experience. Lokam etam ichhantaha. So there is something that he desires. But the subject matter of his desire is not what is meant for general people. For a general person, desire simply means the sensual pursuits, the pursuit for wealth, the pursuit for popularity, power, position, recognition. These are the things. And therefore now, what is it that he desires? For there are only two options, something that he has discovered or something that he wants to discover. You see, for which now all these things have lost their charm, they have lost the power to hold him back. So now, Vidyaranya Swami, we have already started looking at this. To recapitulate, he says there are two types of lokas. Let us keep the word loka as loka. And for your sake of convenience, of understanding, we will keep the word loka as the experience. There are two types of experiences. Loko hi dvividha, atma lokaha, anatma lokascha. Experience of the self and experience of that what is not the self. Anatma vastu. It can be well appreciated by everyone. All these things which generally are now looked upon as the pursuits of life, which people look at with great passion and ambition, is all anatma, is not the self. You may want it to include it into the self, but you cannot. You want a house, but the house cannot be I. It can be mine, but it can't become I. The position can be mine, but it is not I. But somehow there is a confusion, and we think all these things are going to make me bigger, because the person sorry, finds himself as so small and so insignificant that he wants to make himself significant, important, big. That a bigger house means that the meaning of I has become big. Bigger car means I has become big. Bigger bank balance means I has become big. More recognition means this I has become more. But no matter how big and how more you may make yourself and your image, yet the sense of incompleteness still persists. It haunts like a ghost, and therefore, this is all anatma-vastu. Then there is the experience of Atma, knowing this I is Purnam, is complete, infinite, wherein every idea which makes you uncomfortable, the idea of being incomplete, the idea of the sense of being unfulfilled, is all eradicated. And one discovers that this I is Purnam, complete, infinite, in which all the complexes are resolved, dissolved, and one rises above all this pettiness of life. This is what he wants to know. And because he simply now wants nothing else but just wants to know, because the self is Purnam, and what is wanted is just that you do not know, and therefore it is the pursuit of knowledge. The pursuit of moksha is pursuit of knowledge. Hence, Bhagavan Shri Krishna said, Lokesmin vividha nishtha ura proktan mayanagha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yogena. There are only these two nishthas, there are only two types of people now seen over here. One who are renunciates, and for them the pursuit is the pursuit of knowledge. And then the others are in the other pursuits, and therefore for them the means is karma. For one, it is renunciation of karma. For the other, it is following the path of karma. Knowledge is sought by him. And therefore, now he says, Yo mamsadika pinda lakshanat svam lokam paramatmakhyam aham brahmasmiti aviditvam riyate. He who dies, because death is inevitable. You may try to avoid it, but it is going to come, no matter who it is. You can be Jagat-Jeta, Alexander, conqueror of the world, yet you will be conquered by death, reduced to dust by death. Can be anybody, and in a way, Mrityu, death is Samadarshi. Samadarshi, because death is not going to spare someone because he is rich, or is going to spare someone because he is poor. is not going to spare someone because he is educated or spare someone because he is uneducated. Whether he is a man or a woman, black or white, does not matter. In the eyes of the death, everybody is equal. Samadarshi. Death is going to crush all. And sooner or later in the time, millions of people who have come have gone even without leaving much memory behind. Those who have left some impact on the time will also be eradicated by the time, and they will also be forgotten. They say time is ruthless. So death is bound. One is bound by death. The body is bound by death. But he who now, before he dies, is able to know Paramatma, his life has become fruitful. The Upanishad says his life alone is fruitful. The one who has decided to walk on this path of spiritual discovery, who has decided to walk on the path of liberation, his living alone is fruitful. Because every day you wake up only to discover fulfillment and satisfaction. You do not wake up so that you can go back to sleep dissatisfied, unhappy, sad, incomplete. So also you are saying that I am living because I want to discover fulfillment, freedom from misery. And that's why I'm living. And if you have not discovered this, but if a person leaves the world, leaves this body, still dissatisfied, carrying the sense of incompleteness, regrets, anger, frustration, disappointment, then that life already is fruitless. Therefore, the Upanishad says, he who has now known Paramatma, his life is indeed fulfilled. Yo mamsadika pinda lakshanat swam lokam paramatmakhyam aham brahmasmiti aviditva mriyate. He who dies without knowing what happens to him, pretam na bhunakti. He doesn't protect himself. Why? That means that Paramatma doesn't protect him. Why? Shoka mohadi doshapanayanena na palayati. Because that misery, the sadness continues. The reasons for your sadness, the apparent reasons for your sadness could be various. Somebody is sad because he has lost a job. Somebody is sad because he has lost someone who's beloved to him. Someone is sad because he cannot get married. Somebody is sad because he doesn't have sufficient money. Somebody is sad because he doesn't have children, and somebody is sad because he has too many children. Somebody is sad because he doesn't have children who are obedient and caring. Somebody is sad because in spite of having obedient children who are loving and caring, he has to part from them. Dashratha is the example. We don't have to go very far. And therefore, na bhunakti shoka mohadi doshapanayanena. He who doesn't know this Paramatma, he does not get protected. Paramatma doesn't protect him because he still is drowned in the misery. in that sadness, in dissatisfaction, unfulfillment. But the Upanishad has said, Na ha asya karma kshiyate. Indeed, his karma does not go in vain. Why? Nishchitam upasakasya nishchitam karma na kshiyate. Upasakasya ha means nishchitam. Upasakasya, the one who is now meditating upon Atma as Brahman, because he has heard it from the mouth of the teacher, the words of the scriptures. Shravanam has happened, and therefore he is meditating. And so upasakasya nishchitam karma nakshiyate. All his karma does not go in vain, whatever he is doing. Now he is going to lead him there. And therefore, in discovering Atma is Brahman, he finds everything. The result of all the punya karmas he is experiencing simultaneously. Is experienced by him simultaneously. And therefore, eka phaladhanena upakshinam na bhavati kamita sarva phalam moksham cha dadati. He is already experiencing the joy of a king, kings of the kings, even the king of the heaven, and much more. In fact, his joy is boundless. Kamita sarva phalam, hiranyagarbhadikam phalam, kamitam, tat sarvam phalam, apicha mokshancha dadati. So also moksham also chadadati, just that much. This is the power of that knowledge. And therefore, in pursuit of that knowledge, of this experience, the person has renounced and he goes away. So you don't see that a reason for renunciation? Over here, he is not inspired because he wants to serve the society. In order to serve the society, you don't have to become a sannyasi. You can be serving the society in whatever capacity you are in. You are a grihastha. And if you are going to do your duty properly as a diligent citizen, you already are serving your nation. Aren't you? And therefore, in order to serve the nation, you don't have to become a sannyasi. So what is it that he has found for which he has renounced? It is this. Etameva lokamichantaha pravrajanaha pravrajanti. This is what he wants to experience, and that's why he gives up. Shashtadhyayepi kimarthavayam yakshamahe kim prajaya karishyamo yesham no ayam atma ayam lokaha iti. There is in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is said, kimarthavayam yakshamahe. For what is it that we should be doing the sacrificial rituals? Because every ritual ultimately means maybe either get praja or swarga or wealth and things like that. But we don't want it because all that can be delivered by this is already there with me. The joy of all these things is already there with me. You get those things. You get the joy, but you also get the sadness that it brings along with it. And what we get is unadulterated joy without the misery of it, and much more moksham api. And therefore, kimarthavayam yakshyamahe. For what we should be doing this karma. Oh, you do this karma, you will get more wealth. We have the joy of the wealthiest person in this world. And much more. Even that what he cannot have is already there. Kim prajaya karishyamo? What will we do with having this praja, progeny, etc.? Now, yesham no ayam atma ayam lokaha, for us, for whom the experience is that of atma, what are we going to do with all this anatma? Iti. Then further, apastamba smriti is quoted. This smriti says, ye prajami shire te shmashana nibhejire, ye prajam ne shire te amritatvam hibhejire. This smriti, apastamba smriti says, those who desired progeny, etc., they are ultimately just faced the cremation ground. Shmashana nibhejire. Ye prajam ne shire, but those who did not desire all these things, progeny, etc., and desired atma, strived for it and have known, te amritatvam hibhejire. They attain the nectar, the immortal nectar. We are not even talking about that nectar, that amritatvam, which is the nectar of immortal gods. Nectar of immortal nectar by itself. Amritatvam hibhejire. Evam cha etameva pravrajino lokavichantaha pravrajanti. And this is iti atra atmaloko vivakshitaha. So now do you understand when it is said this experience is desired by them? Now what is the meaning of that pronoun this? This means this atma. Over there in that sentence of the Upanishad, the pronoun this means atma. Evam cha etameva pravrajino lokamichhanta pravrajanti iti atra atmaloko vivakshitaha iti kapyate. And this is the loka, this is the experience that is desired by them or is meant over there in that sentence. Eshavai Sava Esha Mahanaja Atma. Now over there that Atma is said as to be Mahan. Mahan, meaning great. Actually it means infinite. Infinite. Aja, unborn Atma. So this is iti prakrantasya atmanaha etat shabdena paramishtatvat. And the word this therefore means this Atma which is meant in the earlier sentence. So the pronoun this becomes meaningful because as Atma which is meant in the earlier portion of the Veda. Lokyate anubhuyate iti lokaha. Now look at that. The word loka is explained. Atmaloka. Atmaloka means not the world of Atma. And somebody is going to translate it as world of Atma. When you use the word world, that itself means something is anatma. That what is not I is called as world. That what is not I is world. And therefore, Atmaloka will be an oxymoron if you are going to say the world of Atma. There is nothing like world of Atma. It means lokyate. The word loka means lokyate anubhuyate iti lokaha. That which is seen, that which is illumined. Anubhuyate, that what is experienced is loka. Tatha cha atmanubhavam ichhantaha. So what is the final meaning of all these things? What is it that is desired by such a sannyasi, by a person for which he has taken to the path of renunciation? It is said, atmanubhavam ichhantaha, because he now wants to experience nothing else. Not the applause given by people, the recognition that he wants to, and the appreciation that he wants to see in the eyes of the people. No, 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 no. Then what does he want? He ichhantaha. What is it that is desired by them? Atma anubhavam, the experience of self. Sorry. Atma anubhavam ichhantaha pravrajanti. And this is how they leave, renounce, and go, desiring the experience of the self. Shrutehe tatparyarthaha sampadyate. This is how we are able to really justify the conclusion of the Shrutis. Atmanubhavam ichhantaha. Does this ring a bell from one of the Bhashyakara's works called as Sadhan Panchakam, where he says, Atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagrihat turnam virgam yata. What is he saying? Atmecha vyavasiyatam. Arrive at a point where now you can be vyavasaya means adhyavasaya, nishchaya, definiteness, with certainty that you simply want to know this Atma is Purna. Nothing else is desired by you. When this is what is your case, come on. The punya of innumerable births has fructified. Just in this desire blossoming in your heart, the punyam of innumerable births has fructified. Because one wants to know that. I have eaten sufficiently and every day, thrice a day, or even more times, delicious food, but it has yet not satisfied my palate. I have seen beautiful objects sufficiently, but it has yet not pacified my eyes. I still hanker for more and more and more and more. How much more? When the Upanishad says it is this Atma knowing which that benediction arrives. There is absolute peace. Parashanti. This is Parashanti. Pravrajanti iti shrutehe tatparyarthaha sampadyate smritishcha. Now he goes ahead to show you that it is the same thing has been reflected by the Smritis. The Smritis, when are the reflections of the Veda, of the Shruti, then such a Smriti becomes valid Smriti. Smriti means a work authored by someone, because it is going to spring from his memory, and that's why it is called as Smriti. Whether it is Mahabharata or Gita, Ramayana, all these are forms of Smriti only. But they are also categorized as Itihasas, Puranas, Smritis, Dharmashastras, etc. It is authored by a person. And when he is going to author, naturally, It is a function of the memory, and therefore it is called as Smriti. So over here, Smriti, he says, Brahma Vijnana Labhaya Parahamsa Samabhaya Shanti Dantya Divis Sarvaihi Sadhanaihi Sahito Bhavet. It is for the sake of knowing Brahman, Brahma Vijnana Labhaya. Now that word Jnana and Vijnana, which means knowing and experiencing. It is not, these are not like, we don't want to know, we want to experience. It is not a choice like that. It is knowing and knowing Atma doubtlessly. When you know something doubtlessly, it is your experience. Then only you call it as an experience. You see an apple in the tray, you say that I know it is an apple. But when you are going to pick it up and crush it under your teeth, then I'm experiencing the apple. Is not it true? That is what you are going to say. As long as you are just seeing it in the tray, you are going to say, I know, but I don't know if it is real apple or it is only a wax apple. Wax or some other material that it looks exactly more real than a real apple. So now you know it is apple when it is already, the juice is on your tongue. You know, and you know it doubtlessly, and therefore you are saying it is experience. So what is ultimately an experience? Experience is knowledge which is without any doubt. So knowing doubtlessly is the only way, because he wants to know Brahman. Brahma Vijnana Labhaya, in order to know this Brahman. Now, Parahamsa Samabhayaha, now having become this Paramahamsa, he is called as Paramahamsa because we are looking at Paramahamsa Sannyasa. Don't forget. Paramahamsa Samabhayaha Shanti Dantyadibhis Sarvaihi. Now, being equipped with Shanti, meaning the pacification of the mind, his mind is at peace. Danti, the Indriyas are also not agitated, they are also at peace, at rest. The eyes are not demanding, the tongue is not demanding, the skin is not demanding. Shanti and Danti is there. And even if there is a little agitation, now he has the power to pacify it, to make it peaceful. Shanti Dantyadibhi Sarvaihi Sadhanaihi Sahito Bhavet. So let him, so let this person who is now called as Paramahamsa, let him equip himself with all these sadhanas, Shanti, Danti, etc., for the sake of knowing Brahman. For the sake of knowing Brahman. Brahma Vijnana Labhaya Parahamsa Samabhayaha Shanti Dantya Devis Sarvaihi Sadhanaihi Sahito Bhavet. Now, if you remember, Bhashyakara also has brought this thing, how well capsuled he has said, Shantyadif Parichiyatam Bhagavato Bhaktir Dridhathyatam. Did he not say that there? Shantyadi means Shanti, Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Sama. Bhagavato Bhaktir Dridhathyatam. Right? No, what is that? Shantyadif Parichiyatam Dridhataram Karmashu Santyachyatam. Over there also Karmashu So thus, here we have found that the one who is now willing to give up and take to the life of renunciation is for no other reason but only to know Paramatma, only to know Paramatma. This is the Paramahamsa Sannyas. Now we are going to look at how this Paramahamsa Sannyasa, why is it called as Vividisha Sannyas and Vidvat Sannyas. This is going to be the next topic of our discussion. And we will look at it when we meet next. I would ask you people to just, forgive me for finishing it, this particular lecture a little earlier today. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Padarayanam Sutrabhashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Mahadeva Mahadeva Mahadeva. Thank you all. Thank you very much.